Hey guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how you can use ChatGPT to create your own fine-tuned model. So last week, OpenAI released the ChatGPT 3.5 model to be able to create your own custom fine-tuning model on it. And in this video, I want to show you the steps that you need to take in order to get towards your own custom model. First, if we're going to take a look at the blog post that OpenAI released last week, I believe the 22nd of August, if I'm not mistaken, yes, you can see that we can now fine-tune models based on the 3.5 turbo model, which means that you can get blazing fast reactions back from your customized model. Again, fine-tuning models do have a disadvantage where you will need to provide a lot of data in order to create a really good fine-tuned model, but that is not the purpose of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can do that, and you can work on your own data set yourself. So if we go all the way down, you will see the fine-tuning steps. So first of all, step one, you will need to prepare your data. And if we take a look, we need to deliver the messages or the data sets in these order. So we have the messages section. Then we have three different kinds of roles. We have the role for the system. Basically, this will set the system message where you will be able to set guidelines for the custom model on how to respond towards the user's text inputs. Then we'll have the user's question, and basically this will be a dummy question that you can set up based on the FAQs that you get for your own business. For example, what are your opening hours? What time can I reach you? Are you open on a Wednesday? All kinds of variations you will need to create based on your opening hours. For example, let's say 10 to 20 different kinds of variations in order to generate a really good reply from your custom model. But this is the section that you will need to do so. So we have the messages. Role one is the system. So the system message to define how ChatGPT needs to respond towards your user. So you set a role for the system. For example, for me, you are the representative of the Chatbot Marketing Accelerator, which is my membership. And then I will give it some guidelines on how to respond. For example, only respond about questions related towards my membership. Do not give any links towards external sources, which you cannot find inside the following business information and stuff like that, right? So that is something that you will need to be able to customize and really fine tune according towards this model. Then the second role is for the user. As mentioned, these can be dummy questions, and you can have about 20 to 50 different kinds of variations for each question. I think that would be a good data set. And then we have the assistant. So how do we expect the fine-tuned model to reply? So this entire section is just one data set, and you will need hundreds, if not thousands, depending on your business information, in order to create the perfect fine-tuned model. It is possible, of course, and you can even use ChatGPT to come up with variations, which is really, really easy to do as well. But this is the structure that we need to do. And actually, OpenAI does not show the correct structure here. So the way that we need to upload data is in a JSON-L format. So not a JSON format as it's being displayed here, but we need to upload it inside of a JSON-L format, meaning that you will need to have this entire section on one line. Basically, JSON-L stands for JSON lines. So we just need to provide everything on one line, and then it will look something like this. And this is just an example of just 57 different kinds of data. We will see that everything is on one line. So this entire section, so this entire line one, is the exact same as this entire data set. So keep that in mind when creating your file. You will need to do so in this format. Now, once you have created your data, right, and you saved it as a JSON file, the next step is to actually go and upload the file. And if we take a look here, you will get a simple curl request. And I'm going to show you how you can do that through your chatbot even. You can do that inside of your chatbot. You can do that with Postman, for example, Publi, wherever you can make API calls, you can basically do this directly there. So if we go and switch over towards UChat, so step two is uploading your file. And if we take a look at this external request, and if you are not familiar with UChat, you can do so by going towards the add items, advanced actions, and then external request will be on top. Now, if we are going with the external request, it's a really simple post request, as you can see here, api.openai.com/v1/files. As you can see here, I've just copy and pasted this in, right? Then the next step is to add one specific header. As you can see, authorization, bearer, and then your OpenAI key. So basically what I did is exactly the same. I went to header, I went with authorization, bearer, and then my OpenAI key. So do not try to use this OpenAI key because I will delete it after the video, but just to show you how it would look like. So you will need to provide the body as a multi-part form data. This is important because if you try to do it inside of a body JSON format, it will be rejected. So if we take a look at the body, you will need to go with the multi-part form data, and inside of UChat it would look like this. So if we take a look, we have the purpose is fine-tune, right? So purpose, we're just going to implement purpose, and then we have fine-tune as the value. So we have a key and then a value attached. Then for the uploading of files, I just uploaded it towards my S3 storage. So if you created your file, your JSON file, you can upload it towards an online storage as long as the extension is .js, because otherwise OpenAI is not able to extract the dataset within, right? So I uploaded it towards my dataset or my data storage on Backblaze, which is an S3 storage. And I just inserted this URL because that contains my file destination. So under the upload files, we have the file, and then we have the actual URL that points towards that file. Now, if we're going to test this request, you will see that we will get a certain response back. It just takes a few seconds, and then we should get a response. And as you can see, we now have an object, it's file, which is good because we uploaded the file. And now we have the file ID. So this is actually the thing that we will need during the next step. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. You can also map this ID if you like to. If you want to run the flow and automation dynamically, you can do so. For me, I'm going to show you manually because that is a little bit more clear and a little bit more in detail. So I'm going to copy this file ID. Nothing else is needed at this point. And then in this file ID, I'm going to step 3. I'm going to create or request a fine-tuned model with the file ID that I just uploaded. So if we're going to take a look at GPT again for the instructions, you will get another curl request, basically an API call. So here is the URL that we need to use, api.openai.com/v1/fine-tuning/jobs. And if we take a look at my external request, you will see that that is exactly what I entered here. So for the headers, this time we will go with the content type of application JSON. So this time, instead of a multi-part form data, we're now going with a JSON body. And so we need to put that inside of the header. So content type application JSON. So if we take a look, you will see on the header side, content type application JSON. And I can actually input that inside the test value as well, just to make sure. And then, as you will see, another header needs to be in there, which is authorization and then your OpenAI key. Then for the JSON body, as you can see, we have a JSON body structure here. So we have training file and then the training file ID that we just copied, right? And then from there, we also have the model. So we can now use the model GPT 3.5 Turbo and then 0613. So for the JSON body, we have the training file and we'll just replace it with the file that we created. And then we will have the model GPT 3.5 Turbo 0613. So let's test this request and let's see if we get a value back. Sometimes you will get this error that the file that we just used is still being processed and is not ready to be used for fine-tuning. Please try again later. Most likely you will just need to wait for just a minute or so, depending on the file size that you submitted, right? So if the file size is really small, like mine, just 57 lines, I believe, then if I test the request in just a few seconds, then you will see that I will get a new response. As you can see, with just a few seconds later, I will now have a response code of 200, meaning that the API call was successful. And now we have created our custom model. Now, the next part, using your actual custom model, I thought that I needed to have this specific ID, right? Actually, it turns out that the specific model is being sent towards your registered email with OpenAI. So I'm going to open my email inbox and show you how such an email would look like. Okay, guys, so it can take a while before you get the email, but once you have it, you will have something similar like this from OpenAI, fine-tuning job with the ID of FT job, basically the same ID as what we have here, right? So the FT job ending with RC, successfully completed. So if you open this email, you will now see that we have a new fine-tuning model. So based on this ID that we also received here, right? We now have our own fine-tuning model, which we can use, as you can see here. This will be our new fine-tuning model. So if we're going to use this and going inside a chat completion, for example, so let's say we're going with a regular chat completion. And if you want to use direct API calls, you can also do so. So I will first show you this one. Basically, what you will do, you will call the OpenAI chat completion endpoint, which allows you to call ChatGPT to formulate a response. Inside the headers, you will have the content type application JSON, and the authorization will be with the bearer and then your OpenAI token. On the body, you will have something similar like this. So we have the model, and this is your custom model. So we can just replace this with the one that we just copied. And then we will have some messages. So for example, role a system. We still give some data here if we needed to. But we also have this already implemented inside of our fine-tuned model. So this is actually not really needed. We could just skip this entirely. So if we just go with the role of the user, so let's skip this. There we go. We now only have the role, user, content. For example, who are you? Or let's say something like, what is the chatbot marketing accelerator, right? If we're going to test this, you can also set up your own temperatures and stuff like that, but this is the base model. If we're going to test this, then you will get a pretty quick answer back within just a few seconds. And as you can see, we now used our own model. So how cool is this that you can now basically create your own model with a huge data set, of course, and then let ChatGPT respond towards your business information. And then you can see a response. The Chatbot Marketing Accelerator is a program that, and then it will give the information based on the data set that you gave, right? If you want to use the UChat chat completion, it's almost working the exact same way. So if we're going there, let's go towards the chat completion. Basically, this entire data set we don't need. So we can basically get rid of the system message entirely because we already gave that inside the fine-tuned model. And that means that now we have a lot less tokens that we need to use because the system message will be empty, right? So let's go with something like, what is the chatbot marketing accelerator? Let's go for our own custom model. So let's copy and paste that in again. Let's go with, let's say, 500 tokens for now. Then let's go with a test request. So let's see how fast we can get a reply again. So pretty much with a fine-tuned model, it will take from anywhere between 5 seconds up to 15 seconds because it's searching now a custom data set, right? And as you can see here, the Chatbot Marketing Accelerator is a program designed to help businesses leverage chatbots for marketing and sales. It offers a comprehensive package that includes a premium chatbot marketing suite, and this is just data that I fill in, but it gives a really good response back, as you can see. A fantastic way to be able to have your own custom fine-tuned model based on ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo and also reduce your token count drastically because now if we take a look, I only used 154 tokens. Normally with the system message containing all the business information and also the guidelines on how to respond, I would have an average of 800 to 1200 tokens. So as you can see, you're already drastically reducing the cost that you otherwise will make according when using just the regular GPT models. So I hope this video was helpful in showing you how to create a fine-tuned model. Again, you will need to provide a huge data set of different kinds of variations for each individual topic that you want to basically let ChatGPT answer. And once done, make sure that you have every single data set on one single line. Otherwise, ChatGPT or OpenAI will not accept your JSON file. If you have any questions, do let me know, and I'll try to help you out as soon as possible. For now, have a great day, take care, and talk soon.